Good afternoon, world. It's Ivan America. It's coming to 5 o'clock. Just got back from my shift at Coco Free. Was today busy, Ivan? For a weekend, it was not that busy. It was okay, but for me, it was busy because I was alone, right? As I told you, even Saturdays, like, even if it's not that busy, if you're alone, it's still a lot of work. It took me like 2 hours and like 45 minutes. 2 hours and like, 40 some minutes to close, man, today. Because I took my lunch break at like 12:40, 43. I ended at 1:13, and I clocked out at 3:55. That's like 2 hours and 40 some minutes. Took me to close. I also had to mop too. I didn't have to take out that much garbage today, but I had to mop the front of the restaurant. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Did you hear from any of your jobs, Ivan? No, I didn't. I did not hear from any of the jobs that I applied to. Hence why I'm going to ask the boss if I can get my full-time hours out, because Dinty's cut my hours. Yeah, Dinty's cut my hours, yeah. Dinty's cut my hours. I only work once a week there now, so I need to what? Get more hours, right? Yeah. Yeah. So you want? Yeah, I'm gonna ask the boss if I can get my 5 days a week back. Like, can I work 5 days a week again, like I did in 2023? Because I need the money. I have to save money for my book, man. My book is the last hope for me. We should be kidding, man. Yeah. Yeah. Some sour. Because if I only work six days for 2 weeks, 3 shifts a week, I'm only gonna get paid like my $600. The minimum wage for Quebec went up to $16.10, so I'll make a bit more. But like, I'll only make maybe $650. I want to go back to making my $800, because now at Disney's I'm only gonna make like my $180, $190. So I'm gonna ask the boss if I can get my full-time hours back at Coco 4D. I'm still gonna be looking for other jobs, but I'm not gonna quit Coco 4D because right now I have a job. Coco 4D is my main source of income. That's why I'm not gonna quit until I know 100% sure I got another job. Some Sarah? Yeah. Are you tired, Ivan? Yeah, man. Coco 4D. I told you, when I work at Coco 4D, after I'm done, my body's completely drained of energy. That's why I gotta get my bike fixed. Because once I finish my shift at Coco 4D, my body is drained of energy. When I walk home, I'm struggling with the walk, man. I feel the fatigue. I feel so lazy and like burnt out, man. Because they overwork me at Coco 4D. It's so much work. Tomorrow's Father's Day, which means it's gonna be fucking busy. I might be closing at maybe 4:30 tomorrow, maybe almost 5 o'clock. I close 4:30, 4:45. I close tomorrow, man. I work with the other dishwasher, but the other dishwasher, he's new. He's still getting used to the routine and everything. Yeah, he's not Anthony, right? Yeah. Like, Anthony was like me. He's very fast, efficient. The other guy is a younger guy. He's new. He's still getting used to the routine of washing dishes, right? That's why I miss Anthony, man. Anthony was my partner, man, on Sundays, and he left like more than a month ago. He left. His last shift was last Mother's Day, right? Mother's Day in May. That was his last shift. After that, he was done. Yeah. Yeah. What did you eat yesterday? Yesterday I had my Dinty's food, and then for supper I had shawarma. My younger stepbrother, he bought shawarma. So I had one shawarma wrap sandwich, and I had like a little plate of rice. You know how it comes with the rice? I have the rice, the potatoes, with the beef, and that's it. And today I'm gonna have one plate. I'll have maybe one pita on the side. I'll have my rice, my potatoes, my garlic sauce, spicy garlic sauce, all that stuff. I eat one plate and I'm good. And that's how I lose weight. You know. How much money do you have saved this paycheck, Ivan? With the Dinty's pay, a portion of that going to my savings, and the Coco Fruity pay, I'm now up to $1,000 saved. So I went from zero. Before I had pretty much zero. I blew all my savings, and after 2 pages, I went up to 1,000 because I've been saving more of my money. I still blow quite a bit of it, but I save the majority of it, a good chunk of it. That's how I save my money. So end of the year, I should save maybe 3,500. I think 4,000 plus I should save. End of the year, that should be enough money for me to get my book proofread. They're probably going to charge me maybe $2,500 to proofread it. Because I'm going to tell them, look, man, my younger stepbrother added volume 1 and volume 2, which means you still have to go over it, but for typos on stuff, but you barely have to do much work for that, and you should give me a discount for at least $2,500, $2,000. They charged me $3-4 to rip me off. And my younger stepbrother added the majority of all of volume 1 and volume 2, and the beginning of volume 3. But there's still typos, as you guys caught, right? There's obviously some typos. Yeah. Spelling typos, that kind of stuff, yeah. Because my younger brother was supposed to go over my book twice. He told me, we have to go over it again for potential typos and stuff. But I told you, he bailed on me. After volume 3, he bailed on me, honestly. He added volume 1 and volume 2. And after volume 3, he bailed on me, yeah. Using the Jesus religious excuse. But I know why he bailed me, because the family's obviously told him, don't edit his book, man. Like, what are you doing? Ivan's our enemy. Yeah, the families don't want me being king, man. That's why he bailed on me. Had he not bailed on me, I never would have looked for a job. I would have kept collecting welfare checks. I decided to get a job, and I make way more money working than I do collecting welfare checks. Welfare checks, I was only getting $700 a month, man. Whereas working, I get like my $1,500, $1,400, $1,800 a month, whatever it is. Just depends on what I get paid. I get like my $1,600 a month on average, right, when I work. Yeah. 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 That's why you're not letting the gate such money, Ivan. Yes, because they make what? You're selfish, man. Like, all the trillions in the world goes to you, and you won't let me get a piece of that. You won't let me touch your money, and all of a sudden you want to steal my billions too. Like, no, man. The money off of Zane's brand's mine. You're not touching it. It's my money. The billions is for me and VJ. It's not for you guys, man. All the trillions in the world goes to you guys. These billions are for me and VJ. I'm not stupid, man. If I sell to you, you're gonna lock what owes me to. You're never gonna let me be a billionaire. I'm not an idiot, man. You have an envy. Even when I'm poor, you take money from me, man. You're a crazy person. Yeah, man. Reprobate. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want you to stay poor, and I don't want you being successful. I want to keep you poor or you sell to me, I'll let you be worth maybe $20 million. I'm never gonna let you be a billionaire. Yeah, they're crazy people with the gates. That's why I gave away the keys. Or the gates don't do it, man. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Yeah. The more I get paid at Dinty's, I don't know, my $280, $270 check. Yeah. How much are you gonna pay Ivan? Like about a $300 check, a $280, $290 check. Around there I get paid. Probably $260, maybe $250, $270 check. Because I came very late on last Wednesday. I overslept. My alarm didn't go off. Yeah. I set my alarm, it didn't go off. I woke up, it was like 15 minutes to 8. I'm like, holy shit. I had to take a shower. I had to text the boss, yeah, I'm gonna be running a little bit late. I arrived to work at like 8:40. I was 40 minutes late. That wasn't my fault. My alarm did not go off, man. Yeah, it didn't go off. Yeah, my phone. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, we should be curious how much money you made off your book. Yes, you will. Ivan, how much money you made off your book, by the way? So Luigi, you want to know? Yeah, Ivan, I want to know. Yeah, I made $15 billion. You made $15 billion off your book? I'm like, yeah. She's like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. Yeah, we can build that dream $50 million house. Yeah, if I make 15, I'll put $650 million towards my house. Obviously, now I can make Xanus for $2.2 billion. A bit more that way. I make it for $730 million or something like that. A bit more money towards the movie. No. Well, you give Peter Jackson on the budget for your movie. Some Sarah. Did you go over your book yesterday? Yes, I did. I went over my book yesterday. Man, I was hooked, man. My book is sick, man. It's a fucking masterpiece. Oh, volume 3, I'm gonna give you a heads up. It arguably is the most raw, a little bit more raw than the other 2 volumes, but it's still entertaining and you're hooked. And the plot blows your mind away more than the other volumes. That's why you can argue it's the best one. But I went over it, I was hooked. I'm like, this is sick, man. I look at this man as a masterpiece. Yeah, it's an amazing book, man. I'm towards the end of Secret Council and Surprising Arrival. I'm towards the end of that chapter, and now I'm going into Walking with the Ancestors. The 3rd chapter of volume 3. Zara? I'm just making sure everything is good. Like the editor has to make sure they know who's really talking. Hence why I'm carefully going over the dialogue to make sure it's not confusing and you know who's talking by the flow. But I make sure in my book, even sometimes when I don't say like this person said, you can tell by the flow of the dialogue who's talking. Obviously, I try my best to not make it as confusing for the editor that when they edit my book, my proofing my book, obviously, I send it to the proofreaders from Sarah. Yeah. Like, what if you're shocked and you make 30, 40, 50 billion off your book? If I make like 50 billion off my book, I'll put $3 billion towards Xanus, $1 billion per volume. I can put a good 650 million towards special effects and visual effects. Obviously, I can put a good like 70 million towards extras, 60 million towards set building. I can put like 250 million towards costumes, on warranty, features, and masks. If I make it for $3 billion, $1 billion each, put 250 million towards that. That way, they create even better armor and weapons and map. The chance I'm not going to make that. I'm going to make my 10, 14, 15 to 20 billion, maybe 15 billion bucks I make. As he's like, holy shit, you made $50 billion off your book. I'm like, yeah, I did. She's like, holy shit, a lot of money. I know it's a lot of money. Some center. We can start that film suit with that money, I know. With $50 billion, like, we can start Scotch Entertainment, BJ. Yeah, BJ, we can't touch the gatekeeper's money, but because I made the billions off the book, we can start a business. What business? What do you want to do with me? Do you want to be an author? Do you want to do stand-up comedy? Do you want to do television, a sitcom, a television show, or a sitcom? Or do you want to be a big budget movie star? I mean, I want to be a big budget movie star with you. Being a big budget movie star, even though television's cool, doing a sitcom is cool. It's not as glorious as doing a big budget movie, right? I would love to do a sitcom too. Sitcoms are fun too, but I'd rather be a big budget movie star than do a sitcom, right? That's my point. Sitcoms are very entertaining, but they're low budget quality, right? They have like these tiny sets. Yeah, there's a reason why sitcom actors get paid more money than the other television actors, because the show doesn't cost much to make for sitcoms. It's very cheesy. It's low budget quality. They build these cheap sets, and it's very low budget quality. That's why they have more money to pay the actors more who do sitcoms. Whereas the other television shows, they actually put special effects towards it. That's why they're limited in how much they can pay the actors. That's how it works, right? Yeah. But now sitcom actors get paid less than they did back in the day, because back in the day it was all cable television, whereas now you have online. So the cable money is not as big as it was back then, right? That's why now the television stars don't get paid as much as they used to back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, like Friends, I'm saying. Yeah. My room is a mess. I gotta clean it. Will your house really be like Incredibles? Well, you do the math. If you put $650 million towards a house, how high tech is that? That's even more high tech than what you saw in Iron Man. Like, you're looking at like what? Like something like Incredibles, man. Something fucking nice, man. That's why all the Zane stars and the 17 and all them and Peter, they're like, Ivan, VJ, this is your house, man. Holy shit, you have a nice place here. Yeah, they're shocked. They can't afford a house like that. Peter can't even afford a house like that. No, Peter Jackson can afford a $650 million house, but that's a good chunk of his money gone, right? Because he's worth like his 1.6, 1.7 billion. So chances are he has maybe 1.2, 1.3 billion in his bank, Peter. So $650 million, he can afford it, but it's a big con in his budget. Because Peter Jackson's not as rich as me and VJ. He's a multi-billionaire, but he's not as rich as me and VJ, right? And that's why I'm paying him the big bucks, because Peter's big, man. He's worth his like 1.6, 1.7. He might be worth even close to $2 billion by then. That's why you got to pay him the big bucks. But if his agent gets greedy and demands like a $2 million deal, I'm not paying Peter that. He's ripping me off. He's taking a chunk of my money. He gets his $1.4 billion deal, $1.1 billion deal in Canadian money. That's good enough for Peter. He doesn't make that no. It's a deal, Ivan. This is more than what I made for the Hobbit of the Rings. Yes, Peter, this is more than what I made for the Hobbit of the Rings. Stop being greedy. Some Sarah? Yeah. 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 I'm sorry, man. I don't believe your book is better than Lord of the Rings. Well, if you don't, then it's you're entitled to an opinion, right? I'm not going to judge you for what you believe, right? I'll not be shocked if some fans like Lord of the Rings better than Xanus, but I highly doubt it, man. Lord of the Rings is a bit dry and boring when you read it, right? It's a pretty boring book when you read it. Like, beautiful choice of words, beautiful written literature, but it's a bit boring. It's dry. My book is not dry when you read it. It's fresh, and it's very entertaining. Hence why it's the better book. Better story, too. But it's a more simple story than Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's still the better story. Because my story is a masterpiece, man. It's the best story ever told. Best fantasy story ever told. It's a masterpiece. I mean, my stepmother told me Zane's #1, right? That's how you know it's better than Lord of the Rings than Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. And Wheel of Time and Way of Kings. Yeah, it's better than all those fantasy stories, right? Yeah. Yeah. So even Vijay will be shocked. Yeah, Vijay will tell me, Ivan, did you really write that book on your own? Did you really write The Last Roses on your own, Ivan, with no help? I'm like, yeah, I did. Holy shit, Ivan, that was such an amazing story, Ivan. I was hooked reading that. That was such a good story, Ivan. A little bit raw in some sections, obviously, but man, now that's the best novel I ever read in my life, Ivan. Holy shit, Ivan, you're gifted. I'm like, yeah, Vijay, God gave us the heavenly gifts, man, because He knew the gatekeeper was locking doors on us. That's why the gatekeepers did whatever they can to fuck up my mind. Because let's fuck up Ivan's mind now. He struggles in school. He's stupid. Because they lock the doors on me. He can't own a product. But the gift still stayed there. Even though they fucked up my brain, the gift was still there. The creative gift was still kept inside my brain, man. They did not take that away. Yeah. So the family just did something in your brain. Of course it did. I struggled my whole life in school. Like, yeah, even in college when I went to Harris, I struggled with the academic part of Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. I struggled with that. But when it came to the creative stuff, like designing stuff, that's where I shine. I design like beautiful stuff. But when it came to understanding the software, understanding the gist of the software program like Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop, I struggled in that because I'm not that smart of a guy. But when it came to the creative stuff, designing stuff, I excelled. That's how you know. Actually, that's how you know I'm a creative guy. But I'm not that smart. Yeah, like for the final project, I designed this ill project. I'm such a creative genius that when I designed my final project, is I designed this eel, right, and I designed it on Adobe Illustrator, but I made it look like it was designed on Photoshop. And the teacher's like, "Did you use Photoshop for this?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "Oh, you can tell he was shocked." I was like a 95% project, but because I couldn't print the thing, I think they sabotaged my printer. I got 70%. on my final project, and I ended up failing that class. I need like an 80% on my project to pass. I got a 70%. Teacher gave me 70%. But that mind eel project was the best project in the class, man. But I never got to hung it up for the students to see because the printer didn't work, and he reduced my marks for that. There was a lock me, obviously. My project and this other guy, he designed this owl. That was just as good. But my eel project looked like it was made from Photoshop on Adobe Illustrator. Yeah, when it comes to creative stuff, designing all the stuff, your stuff is fucking amazing. I designed some beautiful websites, beautiful pictures and everything. When it came to like the test about Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop, I struggled with that. I failed those tests, man. I didn't do that good. I'm stupid. The gates fucked up my they fucked up my what? They fucked up my brain, man. I know why they fucked up my brain, because they wanted to wipe my memory of me knowing I'm God, that I have a wife, and now we lock arms and Ivan, let's fuck up his mind that way he's stupid in school. And he can't own a product. He's fucking dumb and stupid. But the gift still stayed there, man. I was able to write my masterpiece. Yeah, last was Xanus. Yeah, God protecting you, right? The gift still stayed. Yeah, the intelligence I lost because I'm God. I was obviously born as a smart guy. I would have excelled at school. But I told you, my whole life I struggled in school, man. I was not that good of a student. The only grade I did good in school was like grade 5. Grade 5 I actually did pretty good in school. Grade 4 I didn't do that good. Grade 6 I did terrible. Grade 3, grade 2, grade 1 I struggled. High school I slacked off. I didn't do my homework. Grade 9 I did pretty good. Grade 9 is the only year where I actually did pretty good in school. And then grade 10 and grade 11, when I went to Darcy, I did horrible because I skipped my classes. I didn't do my homework, obviously. If I was a serious student, I would have passed my classes. But I probably would have gotten my 60s, right? Because I'm not that smart of a guy, man. Lucky if I get 170, right? Me, if I study really, really, really hard, I'll be lucky to get maybe a 68%. If I'm lucky, 70 or something like that. Because I'm not that smart of a guy. Yeah. But I'm a creative genius, man. When it comes to creativity, I'm a genius. Yeah. As you guys read section of my book, right? You bluffing. Did you really read what you showed us? Yes, guys. What I showed you, I wrote it with no help. Holy shit, Ivan, you are a gifted storyteller. Yes, I am. I'm a gifted storyteller. I told you I was a gifted storyteller. I wasn't playing around. I'm a gifted storyteller. That's why Xanus is a masterpiece. No. Samsara? Emma. Yeah. Yeah. I might go up just to get a coffee, guys. In a bit. You really think Peter Jackson will tell you Zane's been Lord of the Rings? Yeah, he will. He's Ivan, like you're looking at a bad movie trilogy about Lord of the Rings, man. This is deep, man. This is next level deep. Yeah, this is so deep it blows your mind away, Ivan. Especially Volume 3. He's like, holy shit, you're looking at a man. He's like, this is gonna be better than my Lord of the Rings. I don't believe it's better than Lord of the Rings. Masterpiece. That's what my stepmother told me is number one. Zane's is number one. You know, Ivan, that's number one. That book's number one. And Hollywood would love this, Ivan. They'd be all over this, Ivan. She told me that. The way she said it, too. Your book's number one, and Hollywood would love this. They'd be all over this, Ivan. I know, but I'm not selling out the Hollywood system. The Zane's brand's mine. Why the fuck would I be in Hollywood when I can start my own films with better in Hollywood? I'm going to make billions on my book. I have enough money to start my own films with VJ better in Hollywood. I can fund Zane's for $2.2 billion. You know what I'm saying? 700-some million per volume. More than what Hollywood ever funded for. Yeah. I have my total creative freedom from my brand. The gates and executives in Hollywood don't touch my brand. So I'm saying, yeah. So I don't want the executives in Hollywood having control over my brand. They can ruin my story. Those guys are not business. Those guys are not creative people. They're business people. They don't know anything about creativity. They know a little bit about creativity, but they're not really creative guys. They're corporations who know business. The filmmakers in Hollywood are the ones who are the creative guys. But now the way it works, the studio system, the executives have the final say. They give the directors notes because they think they know better than the directors when they really don't, obviously. As George Lucas said in that clip I showed you, right? Yeah, the Hollywood executives are not the most sophisticated people in the world. Yeah, he's right. They're business people. They're not creative people. Yeah. 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 And what else up, man? I'm like, no, John, you get 9. I'm not paying you 12, man. Stop being greedy, man. And his agent's not, if his agent asks for 18 million, 20 million for John Mega, I'm not paying John Mega that. He gets his 8.5. If he's worth 18, 19, 20 million by then, I can pay John Mega his 10. That's a good deal for John Mega. I'm not going to pay him like 20. He's not worth that. You get paid for what you're worth, John. I'm not going to overpay and have you 2 me, Sarah. You guys are just being greedy. Yeah, you're being greedy pigs. It's a deal, man. Yeah, give it a deal, John. Yeah. So, Ivan, you have to save your money. Yeah, I can't rely on the taxes anymore. I don't trust the government because the government are also my enemies too. They don't want me. When it comes to me, media, you guys are a mess. You're reprobate people. Even the governments are reprobate people. They'll even sabotage my tax to prevent me from getting my book edited. And the gatekeepers too, right? I don't trust the gatekeepers. Hence why I'm going to save my money. Because next year I might end up owing. I highly doubt I'll owe the government next year, but next year my tax might get sabotaged again. The government might owe me maybe $3,000. I get maybe $600 or something like that. Yeah, don't let Ivan get us $3,000. Pay him like $800 or something like that. I don't have enough to get approved, and hence why I'm going to just save my own money. Obviously, I don't trust the government, and I don't trust the gatekeepers. They don't want me being game of Egypt, man. Yeah, man. They're rabid people. Yeah, Ivan. So you're supposed to get money. I was supposed to get at least my $2,000, maybe $1,800, maybe my $3,000 But I ended up owing the government $800 when I paid all my fucking taxes. I knew it got sabotaged. That's why I'm like, hey, Ivan, you gotta save your money. You can't rely on your taxes anymore. You can't trust the families. You can't trust the government. They're your enemies, man. They don't want you being king and chicken with you. Even when it comes to the government, they're corrupt. When it comes to media, they're rapid people, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Like, I remember when I got thrown in the hospital, I went to court to plead my case, and I gave a very good case, obviously, and even the judges were corrupt. You know, they're like, Ivan, they told me, Ivan, you don't want to share. They told me that. I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking share, because they're wrecking people. Yeah, Ivan, according to your statement, the family said that you tried to hit them. No, I did not. I did not try to hit them. I got up to their face and everything. I yelled at them. I never hit them, obviously. And I said in my statement, they're devils and demons. And my lawyer, he's like, yeah, Ivan. So in your statement, you said that your family are devils and demons. You know, and then he had that look because he knew what I was saying is true. Yeah, they're wicked people, obviously. Yeah. And the judge told me, yeah, Ivan. The families. Your parents tell me that you think you're married to a Hollywood celebrity, Victoria Justice. Yeah, they told me that. I'm not kidding around, guys. I went to court, right? I'm like, fuck, man. And I have to play along on I'm like, yeah, she's just a crush of mine. When I said married, it was hyperbole. She's just a big crush of mine. And they're like, okay, I'm like, man, these guys are wicked people, man. Like, you know she's my fucking wife, and you're, even the judges are corrupt. Yeah, man. And that's why I knew, oh my God, the situation is so serious. Even the courts and the police and the government, when it comes to being weak, they're reprobate. They don't want us being kings. They don't want us being together. You guys are messing at me. You're fucking crazy people. They actually said that. Yeah, man. They said that. Yeah, your parents, Ivan, say that you think you're married to a Hollywood celebrity, Ivan. Victoria Justice. That's what it says in this statement. Oh, I had to play along because I knew the whole thing is set up to make me look crazy. That's why I have to play along. Okay, Ivan, just play along, go with the flow. The whole thing is set up to make you look like a madman. Yeah, the gates set everything up for me to look like a madman. They sabotaged my channel, obviously, but because I have the keys and my son and God, everyone's watching it. But you guys act like I don't watch my videos. Hence why they say the families tell me that you make YouTube videos and you watch yourself and you're married to a Hollywood. You think you're married to a Hollywood celebrity, Victoria Justice. Is this true? I had to like play along with the answers, man. Yeah, because I was pleading my case to get out of the hostel, but they're like, okay, Ivan, you're gonna stay in the hostel for a good maybe 33 days. I'm like, fuck, man. After that, I cried. After that. I gave a very good case. Yeah, but they still threw me in the hospital. I stayed there for another 33 days, and they let me out. Yeah. You can't trust anyone, Ivan. You're on your own, man. You can't trust anybody. Yeah. He's like, Ivan, seriously? Yeah, well, I have the keys, because you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the judge actually told me that. Yo, the families, your parents tell me, Ivan, that you think you're married to a Hollywood celebrity and that you make YouTube videos about yourself and you watch yourself and do you think you're married to Victoria Justice, Ivan? And he says something, I'm paraphrasing. I'm like, yeah, I was being hyperbole. She's my Hollywood crush. That's why he said married. Oh, okay, all right. He just like, I have to play along because I don't want them to think I'm a crazy man, right? But the way they were talking was if they acted like I'm a crazy man. Ivan's a crazy man. He thinks he's married to a Hollywood celebrity. When you guys know she's my fucking wife, man. You guys are reprobate people. You're a mess I made, man. Fucking mess, man. That's why you're not going to be saved when I'm here, man. You deserve, man. You're going to be left behind. And when I pay the fee, I'm taking on my wife and I peace out. You deserve. You know, Ivan watches himself. Yeah, you want to be a dick like that when I'm king. I'm not making you stream, man. You're left behind. You're not safe. I'm not making 0 videos on this channel. You deserve. Let's go. Yeah. I'll text my boss if he give me more shifts this week. Yeah. I'm asking, can I get my 5 days a week back? Like I didn't do anything. I need money, man. Because I have to pay off whatever I go back. I have to save my money. Because $600 is not that much money, right? It's shitty money, obviously. Even $800 is shitty money, but for me who doesn't pay rent, that's pretty good, obviously, right? Yeah. 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 No, I mean, seriously, man, what volume is the weakest in your opinion? Volume 1 is the weakest in my book when you read it, right? Because it's just a build up for the plot. It's gonna the real debate about which volume is the best is gonna be between volume 2 and volume 3. Because I think most fans will think volume 3 is better than volume 1, right? Because volume 1 is just a build up of the story. I told you can argue the dialogue flow in volume 1 and 2 is better than volume 3, you can argue. But in terms of the big scenes, the big climaxes, and scenes blowing your mind away, that's all in volume 3. That's why you can argue it's better than volume 1 and volume 2. It just depends how the art hits you. But I think volume 3 is the best. And volume 2 is very, like, close second. Very close. And volume 1 is the worst because it's just a build up of the story. Because volume 1, you have the prologue, and you have young Tactius. Then you have 22 years later. Then you have What Was Stars and Stars and Why. I showed you guys the first, like, 6 pages of that. Fucking entertaining, obviously, but it's just a build-up, obviously. Nothing big really happens. Yeah, the only big thing that happens in Volume 1 is the war in the prologue with Tactius the First. And then Tactius leaving the walls. And the wolves marking stars. Other than that, nothing really happens in Volume 1. And Cassius and Suetonius and his 50 men are looking for Tactius. It's the buildup of what happens in Volume 2 and Volume 3. Of what happens in Volume 2. That's why it's the worst one. But it's still an entertaining volume, obviously. Shortest one, too. The chapters in Volume 1 are not that long. They're short chapters. Volume 1 might be maybe a good 100, 40 pages. It won't be that long. Volume 2 will be 200 plus. Maybe 220, 230 pages, around 240 pages. And Volume 3 will be 300 plus pages. Volume 3 is the longest of all the volumes. Even though I only have four chapters in Volume 3, they're very, very long chapters. I wrote like 100 plus pages front and back for each chapter, man. War and Becoming King is the longest one. The final one, that I wrote 160 pages front and back for War and Becoming King. That's why Volume 3 is a very, very long volume. It's my favorite personally, but you can argue Volume 2 is better. It just depends how the art hits you. Based off the flow of the dialogue, you can argue Volume 2 is better than Volume 3. Volume 2 is a bit more raw, you can argue. But based off the climaxes and your mind being blown away, the scenes blowing your mind away, that's more in Volume 3. That's why you can also argue Volume 3 is better. So it's like a back and forth, right? Yeah. It's like a back and forth with my book. Samsara. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I like Way of Kings and Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings better than Xanus. Yeah, if you like it better, I understand. Those books are masterpieces too. But be honest, man, when you read my book and you read those books, what book stands out more? What's more entertaining? Xanus is a more entertaining read. It's the better book, right? As my stepmother told me, that book's number one, which means it's better than all those fantasy books, right? Yeah. Because my writing style is very unique. The characters jump on the page is very interesting, obviously. So I'm saying my book, right? Yeah. So I will be adding stuff. Oh yeah, I'll be adding quite a bit. I don't know. I'll get like maybe 30% to the movie. More scenes, more dialogue to be more interesting, obviously. Yeah. Now you can do a thing with Eli. You can do a thing with Eli, like when Taki says he's a Prince of Xanus and they throw him in a dungeon. Eli is like, I don't care what that man says. I will not bow to that man from the north. You can throw in the Lord of the Rings Easter egg in there, like Death Lord did with Aragorn in Return of the King. Peter, what do you think of that? Yeah, Peter's like, yeah, but don't copy the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Peter, we won't copy it, but you can add something more interesting. Eli is like, I don't care what Taki says. I will not bow to that man if he's from the north. If he's really the Prince of Things, I'm not gonna bow to this guy. You can add that's not in the book, but you can add that movie thing more interesting, right? Yeah. They put Takis on trial. In the book, he's not on trial. They arrest him in his chambers. In the movie, they put him on trial to make it more interesting. I don't mind us adding dog and adding stuff to make the story better, but don't make drastic changes like you do for Lord of the Rings, where you can ruin and tamper with the plot. Like, Peter might be like, why don't we have like Cornelius be a North? And I'm like, Peter, you're actually pissing me off. You're doing a drastic change. Cornelius is a Southern, he's not a Northern. Yeah, that's why I don't want Peter having full power for the screenplay, because he might make all these drastic changes and he's going to piss off a lot of fans. He's really going to piss me off if he makes drastic changes to my story and he can ruin my story. I wrote a masterpiece, Peter. Xanus is my baby. I don't want anyone ruining that, man. That's a fucking masterpiece, man. I wrote that amazing story. I don't want anyone ruining my story. So I'm saying, I think we could change them, like, Peter. We're not making drastic changes to my story. We're not deleting any chapters either. Because people might tell me, we should cut out Young Taki. Just focus on you when you're older. I'm like, no, Peter. I want to tell the story of Young Taki's too. Yeah, but Ivan, if you tell the prologue, okay, Ivan, why don't we do a thing where we tell what happens in the prologue for maybe 10 minutes to keep the story pacing, and after that we jump right into the Young Taki's. I'm like, no, Peter. I want to actually show what happens to Taki's the first man. Tell the story. I paid Edge up a lot of money. I'm not just gonna have it. I'm not gonna pay Edge up to $29 million for just a 10-minute scene in the movie. No, have the plot be a good 40 minutes. That's enough. That way, Edge Alba had a good chunk of scenes for my movie, and after that, Young Takis is another maybe 40 minutes. Yeah, but Ivan, you really want to have the audience watch an hour and 20 minutes of the prologue and Young Takis? Like you're not really pacing the story. I'm like, Peter. My movies are not released on theaters. We're unlimited in how long a movie could be, Peter. Ivan, you're right. Yes. Peter, if you cut out young Tactius and you choose to tell the prologue instead of show what actually happens, like you did for Lord of the Rings, you're gonna piss off a lot of fans. Man, the fans love the prologue. They love young Tactius. Why didn't you include young Tactius? Like young Tactius, I want the story of young Tactius in my movie, Peter. Don't make drastic changes. I don't want you cutting out any chapters of my book, Peter. Okay, Ivan. Yeah, Ivan, your book's more easy to follow. We can actually follow every chapter. Was one of the things I have to cut a lot of chapters. Yeah, Peter have to cut out a lot of chapters and a shitload of scenes that's in the book, man. And characters too. We're not cutting out any characters, Peter, or we're not cutting out any chapters. All the chapters, all the characters are in the movie, Peter. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Ivan. We can add stuff and change everything and dial and everything to make it better, but don't make drastic changes whereby you can ruin my sword, Peter. You know what I'm saying? You have to tell Peter Ivan the way he knows. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go upstairs and get a coffee myself. I'll be back in a sec. Excuse me, don't wait that for long. Hope you guys enjoying the show. Back in a sec. guys, I'm back. I'm upstairs to get my coffee. Yeah. So you don't want Peter making drastic changes? No, I don't want Peter Jackson making drastic changes. We can add stuff. I don't mind adding stuff and adding dialogue and changing the future dialogue to make it better, but like, don't make drastic changes, Peter, man. I don't want you to. You can ruin my story. You're gonna piss off the fans, man. I wrote a masterpiece. I don't want anyone ruining my stories, sir. Ivan, when you add characters in your book, no, there's no need to add any characters. Yeah. Because Peter might have an idea, Ivan, why don't we make up a character, add maybe another woman character or something like that who fights in the war. I'm like, Peter, in Zane Law, women are not allowed to bear arms. I don't want anyone fighting in the war, Peter. What are you doing, man? You're going to ruin my fucking story, Peter, Samsara. Yeah. Yeah. Samsara? Yeah. Coffee's pretty good. Yeah. So I mean, Zane Law, yeah, when you read Volume 3, when they journey into the caverns and they're camping, the Southerns are curious about Tacitonius, like, tell us more about yourself. And Tacitonius tells them, yeah, marrying them are like, oh man, I want to fight. And Tacitonius is like, women are not allowed to bear arms in Zane Law. He tells them that. Hence why I don't want Peter having the woman fight in the movie. You're gonna ruin my story, Peter. I'm sorry. Because Peter might do a thing. All right, why don't we have like VJ and Danielle Monet and Ariana Grande, they fight in the war, and they're like archers or something like that. I'm like, Peter, what the fuck are you doing? You're gonna ruin my fucking story, man. No, women are not allowed to bear arms in Zane Law, Peter. You're gonna ruin my fucking story, Peter. What the fuck are you doing? So I'm saying, we could change it. I'm like, Peter, you're pissing me off. We're not changing that in the story, man. Are you crazy? You're gonna ruin my stories. I'm saying, yeah. Why would you do a thing where the Northerns are all black people? I'm like, Peter, no. I don't want you copying Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Ryan Coogler's Black Panther. I don't want you doing that. The Northerns are not all black. They're mixed races. They're different races of people. The royal family's black, but the civilians of Zanes are of all kinds of different races. You have Asians, you have white, you have black, you have mulatto, you have Arabs. Yeah. When you read my book, yeah. The Northerns, I don't want the Northerns being all black, Peter. You're going to ruin my story. You're copying Black Panther. I don't want that Black Panther theme for my movie. And you're going to have a contradiction with the Southerns if you have the Northerns all be black. Samsara? Yeah. Yeah, Ivan, you'll have a contradiction. Yes, Peter, you read Volume 3. You have all the Northerns be black. You now have a contradiction in the plot, and we have to change stuff. And you can ruin my story. Hence why I don't want Peter having the Northerns be all black. The royal family's black, but the Northerns, yeah. What separates the Northerns from the Southerns is that they're just people of higher status, but they're mixed races. Like, there's black people, there's white people, there's Arab people, there's Asian people. The Southerns too. There's black people, Asian people, but they're lesser people, lesser status class. The Southerns are a lesser class than the Northerns. That's what separates them. And the Northerns are bred fighters. That's why the Southerns, they recognize Tacitonius and Cassius as Northerns, because they had weapons in their hands. They were armed with weapons, and they know the only people they know the Zane arts comes from the North. That's why they're like, oh my God, men from the North. I said their weapons gave their identity away. Yeah, obviously. And that's why when Cassius barges into Eli's quarters, Eli is like, what is this madness, and to whom are these strangers carrying weapons? And that's why Cornelius is like, don't take one more step, Northern. He assumed they were Northerns because they had weapons in their hands. But even though Eli was shocked that a Northern came into his quarters, he still didn't believe. How do I know you're not an imposter? How I know you're not a northern fake? Yeah. And Cassius had to convince Eli that he is a northern, obviously. Why don't the Southerners believe that Northern will come to the South? Because the Northerns never come to the South, man. It's very rare for a Northern to come to the South. They fear the wolves, and they never come to the South, the Northerns. Hence why Cassius, like, it seems like Southerners don't take Northerns too kindly, saying, yeah, men from the North, a Zanian here, what is he doing here? Yeah, like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? It seems like Southerners don't take Northerns too kindly. And Joe, and I now say, I'm saying, yeah, and Joe was like, yes, too few from the North have been to the South, too few from the South have been to the North, yeah. Very few Northerners have been to the South, very few Southerners have been to the North over the generations, right? Oh. When you read the book. Yeah. That's why I wrote a masterpiece about it. Yeah, man. Here's the guy, Ivan. Like, yeah, Ivan. So you want to do a thing where the Northerns? The Northerns have like have higher status. They're a higher class of people, and the Southerns are lesser people. Yeah, they're lesser people, obviously. You kind of have that similarity with the hobbits of the Shire and the elves in Rivendell. Rivendell is like a beautiful kingdom, and the elves are rich. They have wealth. The dwarves have wealth, whereas the hobbits are not that rich, obviously, right? Except for Bilbo. Bilbo became rich because he got treasure. He got mithril and all that stuff when you read the book, right? Yeah. Because when you read Lord of the Rings, Bilbo is he's a very wealthy hobbit, obviously. He's on his journey. He got like mithril and all that stuff. That's why he came back with a lot of wealth, Bilbo, when you read the book, right? When you watch the movie too. Yeah, Bilbo's wealthy, obviously. When you read the Lord of the Rings. As I read to you guys, right? What are you thinking of Rivendell? I'm thinking something like Rivendell. It's a heavenly, holy... Rivendell, you get that holy feel. Yeah, the North is beautiful like Rivendell. Except it's even more beautiful now because I'm putting my money towards the sets. I'm building better sets. I'm putting my money towards visual effects. Peter's like, yeah, you're thinking something like Rivendell, kind of? Yeah, don't copy Rivendell, Peter, but I'm thinking something like that. The North is beautiful. Zayas will be something like Rivendell's beautiful, obviously. And Cyrus will be something like the Shire, except it's different, obviously. And Saphis will be something like Minas Tirith. Minas Tirith, yeah. Saphis is a stone city like Minas Tirith. It's just the land of the blacksmiths. Here's the land of the blacksmiths. Oh, yeah, if you're looking at it right, it's more the rings, alright? Okay, sure, fucking rings. It's better than my rings. I'm saying, yeah. No, I mean, seriously, man, like, this is gonna be better than my Lord of the Rings. I don't think it's very Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The Northerners don't like the Southerners, Ivan. Oh, my, yeah, I've been looking at our masterpiece, Ivan. Like, how'd you call this story? This is genius, man. This is very George Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. I don't think it's very George Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Yeah. So Peter Jackson doesn't have to worry about cutting a lot of stuff. No, because my story is easier, much more simple to follow. My story is so simple to follow, you can actually follow it page by page. Like, yeah, Peter's the guy. Even your story, we can actually follow page by page. It's not all over. It's not all over the place, confusing with all these info dumps like fucking J.R.R. Tolkien's book. And because my story is so entertaining, and I keep the story pacing, Peter doesn't have to worry about cutting out a lot of stuff from my movie because my story is constant pacing. Hence why it's very entertaining when you read it. Obviously, I keep the story pacing always. Yeah, but you also have to have the gift to keep the story pacing, right? When you read my book, I always keep the story pacing. I always have crazy shit happen to keep the reader entertained. That's what I always do. That's why my book is so entertaining when you read it, obviously. Well, these other authors, they don't really know how to do that. They'll have some weak chapters and they have a few good ones, and after that, it's like 2 more chapters of boredom. Whereas every chapter you read in my book, it's constant entertainment, constant what? Constant hook, right? Yeah. 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 That's what I was saying. This is a lucky man. Yeah. Ivan, who do you think Peter will choose for Maramis? I don't know. I think he's probably going to tell me to either go for Vigo or Russell Crowe, maybe. Maybe not Don Cheadle, but I think Don Cheadle's best for Maramis. He's my first choice. I'm most likely going to choose him. But Peter is biased. He might tell me, Ivan, go for Vigo. Or he might tell me go for Russell Crowe, because Russell Crowe was originally supposed to be... Peter was also interested in Russell Crowe for Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. And they were willing to give, I think, Russell Crowe like 10% of the gross of Lord of the Rings. So Russell Crowe would have made his 100 game for Lord of the Rings. That's what I read online, obviously. But Russell Crowe is more expensive than the other 2 guys. I have to put more money into the budget to pay him his contracts. Yeah. To pay Timothy Chalamet and Russell Crowe, I have to put another like $40 million into the budget. So I'll end up having a budget of $450 million just to pay Timothy Chalamet and Russell Crowe their contracts. Those guys are expensive, man. Their agents are greedy pigs, right? Timothy Chalamet would not agree to do things for $4 million. He's greedy. Well, he probably would agree to do it for $4 million because that's how much he makes in Hollywood. But because I have a payment structure, because Timothy Chalamet is a small agent, so I'm not going to pay him for. I have to pay him more, obviously. But if he gets greedy and he wants like 14, 15 million, I'm like, Timothy, I'm not going to pay you that. You get your 10.2, 10.3. I can pay him 10.3. That's like 7.6 million your American money, obviously, and you get 16 million of the film profits if he's worth like 40 million by that, which he most likely will be. You get your 2.3 million for the game, and like $1 million, maybe 2 for the merch, and you get your speaking fee money and your promo money, your 250K promo money. So Timothy Chalamet signs $30 million deal, which is like a $21 million deal in his American money. He's walking away like $11 million in his bank. Timothy Chalamet doesn't make $30 million in Hollywood. He makes like his 4, 5, 7 in Hollywood. Yeah, 8. Yeah. He doesn't make that in Hollywood, right? It's a delight, and I would make it in Hollywood. Yeah, it's a good deal for you, Timothy Samsara. So Vaughn Jordan is my first choice, but he's going to be competing with Dev Patel and Timothy Chalamet for the role of Papyri, the farmer boy, obviously. and Russell Crowe will compete with Vigo and Don Cheadle for the role. But something tells me the casting director will tell me, Ivan, go for Russell Crowe. He's gonna build more buzz for your movie. Yeah, he will. Because Russell Crowe's a big actor, he'll build a lot more buzz for my movie. Holy shit, that's Russell Crowe. Maramis, the captain of the Archers. But Russell Crowe's expensive. I have to pay him the big bucks, man. Yeah, 18 million salary, 9.7 million sign bonus, 55 million the film profits, 4 million for the game. He gets like 3 million for the merch. 3.5 million for the merch. He signed like a 90 million Canadian deal, which is a $100 million deal in his Australian money. He signed a mega deal, a $100 million deal, man. Ivan, what about $1 million for the Russell Crowe? Oh my guys, you're pissing me off. You're getting greedy, man. I'm not gonna pay Russell Crowe $1 million for the promos, man. You rip me off. You're gonna affect my budget, man. I have to pay the crewmen too. The Lord Rings Hobbit crewmen have to get paid too, right? I have to create room to pay those guys, man. It's not just about the actors. People will tell me, yeah, Ivan, the crewmen are important, man. You gotta make sure they get paid too. You gotta watch how much you pay all these guys, Ivan. You know what I'm saying? But people tell me, yeah, Ivan, for Russell Crowe, you gotta pay him a lot of money, man. You know what I'm saying? Give him a nice piece of the film profits, a nice contract for the game, a nice base salary, a nice bonus. I know, Peter. Yeah. I know, but the budget's unlimited. I know, Peter. The budget's unlimited. I'm saying it's unlimited, the budget, yeah. But if Russell Crowe's chosen, he has to drop weight, obviously, because right now he's fat. Mike, Russell Crowe, I want you looking like you did for Gladiator, the film you did like 30-some years ago. I want you gotta drop weight, and you gotta bulk up too. Obviously. He has to drop at least like 30 pounds for the movie, Russell Crowe, right? Because right now he's fat and bloated. He has to drop weight. And I want him to have long hair in the movie. Whereas Don Cheadle, I want him to be bald. Vigo, I want him to have long hair like in Lord of the Rings too. Yeah, that way you have a good look for the captain of the Archers, right? Yeah. Yeah, somebody tells me Don Cheadle is a chosen guy. Because I even go for Don Cheadle. I can picture Merriman as more of a black guy. Yeah, and I go for Don Cheadle right now. As Merriman, the captain of the Archers. Yeah. Or I might choose Russell Crowe. We'll see what happens. Or Vigo. I don't know. We'll see what happens, obviously, right? Yeah. Vigo, I'll pay him the same amount of money as Don Cheadle. I'll pay Vigo his 10 for his salary, and he gets 16 million in the film profits. It's a good deal for him. And he gets his like 2.5 million for the game and like $1 million too for the merch. And speaking earnings, which can range from 600 800K to most likely $1 million, $1.3 million in speaking. So Vigo signed his massive like 30 million deal. It's a massive contract. Ivan, I don't even make this all. I mean like my 5, Ivan. Yeah, Vigo makes like his 5, 6, 7 in Hollywood. Yeah, he's pretty big. He's worth 40 million. That's why I'm paying him the big bucks. But if his agent gets greedy and he wants more, I'm like, Vigo, I'm not paying more. Ivan, what about 15? I'm like, no, Vigo, you get 10. I'm not paying any more than 60 million from profits. Even if Vigo's worth 50 by then, I'm not paying more than 60 million profits because Maramis does not contribute as much as a role as some of the other characters, like Tacitus and Cassius. He's a supporting character, he's in a lot of scenes, but he doesn't contribute as much to the story compared to some of the other actors. Hence why I'm not going to go any higher than that. Because you pay an actor based on his status, but also how much he contributes to the role. That's very important. There's a difference, right? You have to take that into context and consideration. So I'm saying? Yeah. Does it come with perks? Yes, guys, it comes with perks. My company comes with perks. Partying up my house, my yacht, my office, doing tables in my yacht with a beer, limo services, staying at the suites, luxury buffet, nice fucking perks, man, yeah. Flying on my private jet. Nice perks. Yeah. So if you think your first choice for your Zane's cast are most likely chosen, yes. There's like, I don't know, a 90% chance I choose John Boyega over Daniel Kaluuya. 90% chance I choose Yvonne Joje over Dev Patel and Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet will build more buzz, but he's more expensive. And I picture Papari having more of that Arab, Indian, Persian look. That look of Jesus' disciple. Hence why Dev Patel and Yvonne Joje are very good for the farmer boy. I can also picture Timothy Chalamet as a farmer boy, but he doesn't really have as much of that disciple look. He has a little bit of that look, like because he has a baby face. But we'll see what happens. I might choose Timothy Chalamet. We'll see what happens. They have to send the reels, obviously, but based off the reel, the casting director will most likely tell me to go for Timothy Chalamet because Timothy Chalamet is a better actor than Yvonne Joje Dev Patel. I might say, look, man, even though Timothy Chalamet will win more buzz, he's a better actor than those two. I think Yvonne Joje is best role because he has more of that look. And John Boyega has that sarcasticness that he had in Star Wars. You notice how in Star Wars he's very sarcastic? Yeah. Sanitation. Sanitation? The whole galaxy is counting on us. I'm just here to get Ray. Remember that? That was funny. Yeah, he's very sarcastic. That's why he's very good for that story, John Boyega. But Daniel Kaluuya looks more like me, but he doesn't necessarily have that sarcasticness that John Boyega has. He has a little bit of it, obviously. But Peter might tell me, I even go for it, Daniel Kaluuya. He looks more like you. But I'm like, nah, I think John Boyega is better for the role, Peter. I think he has more, he has more of that sarcasm in his face, yes. That's why he's better for the role, obviously. John Boyega is my first choice for Tessitonius. Jumon Su's my first choice for Cassius. Idris Alba is Takis first. I'm not going to have anyone compete with him. I don't think there's anyone better in the role than him. And Andy Serkis don't even waste your time. Nobody can beat Andy Serkis for Job, man. Come on, man. Here's the guy, don't waste your time with Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis got the part for Job. Nobody can beat Andy Serkis for Job. Yeah, you can't beat that, man. Andy Serkis is a class act guy, man. Class act character. You can't beat that for Job, man. Yeah. Some Sarah? Yeah. 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 So Zane's will be a revolution of technology? Yeah. No Hollywood movie was ever made for $700, man. The highest in Hollywood is $350 million. Yes, the Hobbit trilogy was made for $645, $700, but that was for the 3 movies. So they put a good 200 something million per per movie around there for The Hobbit, right? The Hobbit was made for 645 million. So 645 million divided by 3. Yeah, 250 million each per movie. And I'm making Xanus for 700 million per movie. Because I'm putting 2.1. If I make 15, I'll put even a bit more. I'll put 2.2. And it's made for like 730 million or something like that, whatever it is, right? 730 something million. A bit more. And I'm putting 400 also towards special effects and visual effects. Yeah, for The Hobbit, they only put maybe 50 million bucks towards visual effects per movie. 60 million bucks around there. 70 million around there they put. I'm putting 400 dollars. Periods of Ivan, you're looking at a revolutionization of technology. You're looking at battle scenes that'll blow my helmets out of the water. And you're looking at real horror. Every 10 of them will be literal AI devils. Ivan, why are you using the term AI? Because AI, they look human, but they're not really human. They look so real, they actually look human, but they're not really human. Eretz will be an AI devil. He looks like a real devil, man. Like an actual real devil. An AI devil being, man. Something real. The horror is real, man. It's a revolutionization of horror. If you think these horrific movies that came out are scary, Xanus will blow that horror out of the water, looking at real devils and demons. That's why Xanus will have crazy white buzz, man. Something crazy, yeah. That's why Xanus guys are lucky. Yeah. Yeah. Taking a nice hot shower. I'm gonna wash my hair today and twist my hair. Yeah. Twist it, yeah. Will you go over your book today, Ivan? I went over my book yesterday, but I'm not gonna go over it today. I'm lazy. I'll go over it tomorrow. Tomorrow after my shift, my daunting shift that I go over, I'll go over my book. And I'll go over it Monday too. In a good 3 days, I'll be done. I'll be done this chapter, right? The second chapter of Volume 3, right here. Yeah. Ivan, you're crazy. You think Xanus is better than George Lucas Star Wars original, The Matrix, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, James Gunn, Superman? You're crazy, Ivan. I'm like, look, my stepmother told me my book's number one for a reason. My book is number one for a reason. It's better than all those IPs. Yeah, it's a masterpiece. Yeah. Though some of those IPs may have better world building and everything, but in terms of the story, it's the best story ever told. Nothing can top that, man. You can't beat the Xanus story. It's too good, too entertaining. No fantasy guy will be able to top Xanus. You can't top that. It's too good. It's too deep. Too powerful. It's a masterpiece. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why the gates want to take your money out of it. They want to control your brand, but zero. The money not supposed to be just stuff for you. You're not touching the dime off my brand, man. The Xanus brand's mine. Everything in the world's yours. You didn't let me touch your money. This brand's mine. You're not touching my money either. That's how it works. Yeah. If you want to take control of my money, how about you let me make money as well? No, you're not. It's zero. You're not touching a dime of money. Yeah, you're also not touching a dime of money either. You didn't let me make money in this world. These billions off the books are being for Jason, not for you. You're not touching my money. I have the keys for a reason. I don't have to sell to you, man. This brand's mine. I have the keys to the kingdom. There you go. Yeah. Tomorrow's my cheat day. Well, I'll eat the shawarma my younger stepbrother bought yesterday. And tomorrow I'll get the junk food. I don't know what I'll get though. I might get McDonald's is annoying. I'm not gonna get McDonald's. I might get maybe Glenwood or Snack Shack. Maybe I can get the hot dogs at Snack Shack. Get like 5 hot dogs or something like that. Yeah, 5 hot dogs. The burgers are better than the hot dogs, but the burgers are expensive, man. They're like $5 each. The hot dogs are only like $3, right? They're cheaper. Yeah. How much you win, Ivan? I'm 259. Yeah. I went back up to 262 because I ate the McDonald's a couple of days ago. But then yesterday, because I didn't eat much, I'm now down to 259. So yeah, I should be losing maybe 6-7 pounds a month, man, if I keep it up with my fasting, right? I want to go on the treadmill. I can't, man. My body is completely finished. I can't go on the treadmill. Working at Coco Frutti, I just can't go on the treadmill. It's too stressing on my body. As I told you, every time when I finish my shift at Coco Frutti, I'm drained of energy. I have no energy. I even struggle to walk home. That's why I got to get my bike fixed. That way I can bike to work and bike back home, and it helps me out, man. Because walking home from Coco Frutti, even though it's only a 50-minute walk, my body's done, and I struggle to walk back home, yeah. Some sorry. Yeah. Lose this weight, get my girlfriend. Don't hate me, Jim Sonny, yeah. Wife, you have a wife, I know, but Victoria Justice is a cheating whore. And she's seeing guys behind my back, and I'm 100% justifying getting my girlfriend BJ. If you're pissed off, I'm sorry. Karma's a bitch. I'm not gonna listen to you. You can cry all you want and yell at me. I'm gonna ignore you. Because as you're doing that, the numbers are still on your phone, and you're still gonna keep seeing the guys behind my back. And so I'm going to ignore you, and I'm gonna keep seeing the chick too. I'm not gonna listen to you either. You don't listen to me, I'm not gonna listen to you either, VJ. That's how it works, right? Don't hate on the son, yeah. That's why Xanus were the best movie children made and the best fans ever written. Anyways, guys, I talked for an hour and 3 minutes. That's good enough. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. Stay tuned. I'll make a video tomorrow after my daunting shift. Tomorrow, Sunday. This is Adamir. I'm signing off. Peace, guys. Happy Father's Day. Peace.